Have you heard of the BYD Shark? Because this ute, this hybrid, has won multiple awards. News Corp Australia's Car of the Year 2024, Cars Guide Car of the Year 2026, Best Ute Under 85k, Wheels Ute of the Year 2025 to 2026. And I'll be honest, I'm probably not the target demographic for this. I'm not four-wheel driving every weekend, I'm not towing 3.5 tons. Most of my driving is in the suburbs and in the city with the occasional road trip or camping. Every time I'm on the road, I see at least one of these, and it has a strong presence. You notice this car. The Shark 6 is BYD's first proper ute push in Australia, and they've really nailed the timing. This really became Australia's best-selling plug-in hybrid in a year. So it means people aren't just curious about this car, they're actually buying it. I think the reason why this stands out is the value, the technology, and its performance. Inside, it isn't like a traditional ute. You think of a traditional ute and you really think workhorse, tradey, practical. Going to this is like going to a lot of other BYDs. My ute experience comes from Bunnings rentals and from loan cars that I get. Yes, sometimes they give me utes as my loan car. So when I go into the Shark, it is definitely not your typical ute interior. Like, you notice that things are soft. It's not the usual hard plastic worksite kind of vibe. This kind of feels like a SUV. Like, imagine running an extension cable off of this and you can power your tools without needing a generator. And it's silent as well. When I read up on the Shark 6, a lot of people call it a lifestyle ute. Now, they might mean that in a good way, and it also has negative connotations. How I interpret this is that it's got a big tray, so you can store whatever you want in a room for bikes, for your dog, for your camping gear, enough off-road ability to go on those nice trips, those beach trips on light trails. But where a lot of the criticisms come from is the fact that it's not a hardcore four-wheel drive. So this isn't perfect if you're planning to tow over 2.5 tons, if you're doing a lot of off-road work. This might not be the one for you. There are these trade-offs. But for many years in the ute market, all I really see on the road is Rangers, Hiluxes. And in the back seat, you get actual legroom here. The seat angle is not bad at all. And I think that's why Australians are loving it. Not because it's the best at everything, but it's doing different things and hitting the market in the right way. So for someone like me who would be looking potentially at a car or a ute that's comfortable, good to drive, and fits into my everyday life, this is starting to make sense. And as of April, we've actually got 3 variants. What we see on the road is the Shark 6 Premium, and that's what I'm test driving. There's going to be a cheaper entry-level version called the Dynamic, which is going to offer a base for custom tray installation. But the main exciting thing is the Shark 6 Performance. The flagship model, it's going to be about $5,000 more the performance, but with that, you get increased performance. And is expected to have the capacity to tow 3.5 tons. It does this with a 2-litre turbo petrol engine rather than a 1.5 litre. Now, why is this important? Because it is now going to hit the benchmarks set by the utes like the Toyota Hilux and the Ford Ranger, which have been one of the criticisms of the current Shark 6. So let's go for a test drive. I can give you my first impression of how this thing feels on the road, how it might behave on the day-to-day, and try to compare it to other EVs and hybrids I've driven. Short-term impressions can only tell part of the story. To really understand a vehicle, so we have to listen to those who own it, who have pressure tested it, because that's where we'll learn things like real-world efficiency, long-term reliability, how the car actually behaves. This does have a heads-up display. You can see it there, so very useful. I really like heads-up displays. It was something I never considered when I looked at cars, but the more I drive them, the more I appreciate that feature in them. It's just very useful while driving. You don't have to look to the side and get distracted. You know, getting into this car, it's a tall car, so you've got these steps here. So you do have a handle which will help you get on, which is very useful. And yeah, the car's already on, but if you did want to turn on like any other, you press the brake there, and I believe it was just going to drive. As always, you've got all of your storage spaces. The material is very nice, very BYD-esque. The back too, got a step, got the handle there. Coming in, it is a ute, but you've got a lot of space, you really do. And even if this is just for work, if you're driving your workmates around, I think they'd be very comfortable at the back here. Or even just your family, I think any kid any dog would enjoy the back of this car. Seeing it from the outside, you just get a really good idea of how big this car actually is. All the storage at the back here too. It's brilliant. I've seen people have the cover on top as well, so they've added that option, which would protect your contents as well. That'd be good. I really think that this is a very nice looking ute. I think they've done very well in designing a ute for Australians that's a hybrid. And this is what you've got under the hood. All the components. Trunk door, you press that button, open that. And at the back here, yep, all opened up. So, and just to put it back, you just lift it there again. Clicks in. There is a vehicle to load here. You got your three sockets. Very nice. Okay, so this one is a popular one in Australia at least. This is the BYD Shark. Why is it popular? Because it's a ute, it's a hybrid as well. I've actually test driven the BYD Shark before, but that was before I started making videos. This was back when it first came out. Sitting in this, I feel like this is meant to be a workhorse while still having that classic BYD comfort. And at this specific BYD dealership, it has been very difficult for me to get a BYD Shark test drive on a Saturday. I just activated the BYD assistant. So how does it feel driving it? It is a tall vehicle. I am looking down, the cars and the motorbike next to me are definitely on a lower level. And everything feels solid so far driving this too. I was expecting more noise. I'm actually on the hybrid mode. So this is using petrol, but it's still quiet, you know? It's not like my petrol car, not at all, which is much louder. Something I have noticed is when I'm doing this sort of wheel turning, I accidentally swipe my hand on the volume button here, which then turns the music volume up or down. So that's an interesting, I wonder if it's just because of the way I turn the wheel. If I'm just pulling it here, then that's not an issue. Sport mode, 0, let's go. Ooh. So this, the wind up, the startup was on the slower side compared to an EV. You don't get that instant acceleration, but once it got going, it got going. It did shake a bit actually, trying to drive. Let me test that again. I want to see. So I'm gonna start 0 here. Yeah, there's interesting. There's a shake, there's a bit of bumpiness in the beginning as I revved it up, but it's not there if I go more smoothly, more slower. That's an interesting thing. I wonder what causes that. I'm gonna do a bit of a test, go off-road, because obviously this is an off-road kind of car. Just test it out in this hard terrain and it's doing well. Rocky, bumpy, but just because of how high and tall these wheels are, you're not really feeling it in the car. Does very well, as it's designed to do, really. I will say the air conditioning is very nice and strong. I've had no issues with that. The charging pad has been working as well. Phone does get hot in it, but a lot of these wireless pads do that. I'm already starting to get used to all these buttons. At first this was a little intimidating, but I've gotten used to what each one does. I really haven't had any problems at all. It's been a very comfortable drive. It feels good on the road. It felt good off the road as well. It just has all the comfort features that a BYD provides as the standard. And for this price point, for these sort of features, for this power, this size, I can see why this Shark is so strong. If you own a BYD Shark, if you have a friend that owns it or a family member and you've heard things, let me know. Are there any cons to owning this car, to owning this hybrid from BYD? If you're an owner, please let me know about your experiences, because when people ask me what's a good hybrid, if you're looking at a Ute or don't mind a Ute, is actually the BYD Shark. So this has been EV Route. I hope you enjoyed this test drive. Please let me know if there's another car that you want to see on this channel. And if you like what you see, if you want to see more from me, please subscribe so that you get the latest videos as they come out every week.